27.
Are we ready? Hello. Welcome to episode 27 of the Mostly Sorry podcast. I can't believe we did 27 of these so far. It feels like more, to be honest. Sometimes I'm like, man, we've only done 27, but I guess that's 27 weeks in a row, or ish. But anyway, here we are. Thanks for joining us. I'm here with my producer, co-host, friend, David Deary. David, how are you?
Hanging in there, buddy.
Yeah, that's good.
Hanging in there.
I just had a birthday, so I'm a year older now. I'm 34 years old, which is it's a little scary. But I also I was talking to my friend about this the other day, that I still feel like a teenager, like on the inside. Nothing's really changed other than I'm balding and my body takes a heavier hit whenever I treat it bad. But other than that, it's like I still feel like a teenager. It makes me think about really older people, in their 70s or 80s. They probably feel the same way.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah.
Are you referring to me when you say
No.
older people?
I meant fucking people that were in World War II, like actual the elderly, not you, because I still consider you to be young. I think especially now in the new world. Todd Glass again. Jesus, I should have we should have a icon of his face that shows up every time I mention him, because it's been, or a drinking game or something.
We should have a Todd Glass jar where every time you say Todd Glass, you have to put $1 in the jar.
I should get paid for that. Actually, it's a plug.
A swear jar. Okay, so every time you say his name, no, it's too easy because then you'll just keep saying.
No, I mean I like it. I like that I say his name. He's been a big influence to me comedically and also just in my life. I think. But anyway, he had a great joke about how when he was a kid, he thought 50 was old. He's like, I'm 50, but now 50 is hey, I'm 50. I have a band. We play at the bar on Friday nights. It's just different, Things are, especially with even in sports, people, especially skateboarding, I guess all sports. Why did I say especially? I'm talking about all the sports. You can go longer now. We're finding out new things about our bodies and stuff. I just watched the recent UFC this last weekend with Max Holloway and Calvin Kattar. I'm not really sure how to say his last name. Kattar. And for this whole training camp, Max Holloway didn't spar because he's trying to protect his brain and stuff. And he was talking about that, you only have one brain, take care of it. And I thought that was really interesting. He put on a clinic. I mean, it looks like he's in the Matrix during that. It's one of the coolest fights I've ever seen. And, God, he's so athletic. But I thought it was interesting that he didn't spar at all. And his theory being, protect your head. And he's been fighting probably most of his whole entire life. So he knows how to throw a punch and all that. Those things you know how to do. So why add unnecessary damage to the brain? And I think it's happening in a lot of other sports. Just we're getting smarter about our training and stuff like that. And I sort of, I went ham for my birthday a little bit, and then the next day sort of felt awful and ate awful food and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I need a reset, man. So I'm trying to commit to this thing of I went to the gym today, did 30 minutes on the elliptical, and just slowly getting back to where I feel comfortable. Because I think during quarantine and all that, I just sort of let myself go, for lack of a better term. But I kind of want to try to eat meat less. I'm gonna do it maybe once a week. So today I had a really nice I air fried some tofu and made a salad with greens and onions and tomatoes and some crispy rice. I pan fried some Thai black rice and just some lemon and olive oil and salt for the dressing. And I'm just trying to have water and not eat so much sugar. And I'm going to lay off the booze for a little bit. I just want to feel comfortable again, man. I'm sort of
Did you finish all your tasty cakes and honey buns and all that shit?
Oh, yeah. And I didn't even finish all of them because I what sucked was right. So the day I got them, I probably already had COVID, but the next day my taste went away, so like I couldn't even really enjoy them. Like I remember taking a bite of a tasty cake with no taste, and I was like, damn, this just isn't, it's not tasty anymore. It's just a cake at this point. And
Wow,
so
what's that like?
It
What's
was
that like?
Oh, dude, it was okay. Let's get it. I'll talk about
I just
this.
can't imagine eating a tasty cake without the tasty. You know.
Well, how about just food in general, man? As a chef or somebody who loves cooking and flavor, and I mean, for me, it's like food is such an important part of my life. Like I almost borderlining like addiction. Like I'm already sort of starting to panic about this, like trying to eat healthy thing, because it's really hard. And I started thinking, like, what is that? You know, it's probably very close to addiction in the brain. If you were to scan the brain, it probably lights up the same sort of like those receptors of like wanting that mouth pleasure and that sort of brain thing. But anyway, it was
mouth
rough.
pleasure. Shout out to mouth pleasure.
Yeah,
he had to drop mouth pleasure in there. I like that.
Yeah. So I think it was interesting, man. Like, because I love food so much, and to eat things and I couldn't taste them, I couldn't smell them. It was fucking weird. And what I ended up finding solace in was the texture of it, like the actual like the different sort of like, crunchy or soft, but without flavor. It was weird because like a couple days in, I'm like making food and I'm like, what am I doing? All of this shit tastes the same, but for some reason I still wanted a variety of things to chew on, I guess. It was weird, man.
You could eat like rotten food and you wouldn't notice. It would
Dude, yeah. Well, I had to throw away some stuff because I had these salami packets that I had, and I couldn't smell it. So like it looked good, but I couldn't smell to see if it had gone bad. So I had to throw it away.
That's amazing. That's
dude.
So,
yeah, it was weird.
weird.
Not this is like I would like take a shit and just nothing, dude. Like that was pretty sick, actually.
Oh, that's horrible. That's
my girlfriend couldn't smell either, so like
joy.
I could just leave the after I was done, I didn't have to use the poopery or anything. I could pretty much like fart anywhere I wanted, and nothing was happening. But It was I had to not focus on it because I could see myself getting really depressed about it, because like I love like spaghetti and like they're like really decadent like things that like marinara with cheese and all that. And I was there was a couple times if I would have let myself fall down the rabbit hole that I could see myself. Dude, people that still, I mean, I talked to Jessie Johnson and hers is still not really back. Like certain things still tastes weird to her. And I guess I have
Is yours back?
Yeah, mine is back. Yeah, I came back.
Okay.
Came back a few weeks ago, maybe a week ago, and but I guess there are some things. I'm not really sure. It feels like it's fully back, but Jessie was saying to this day, like things to her taste weird. Like coffee tastes like shit to her. There was some weird things that I could taste. You could taste. Not the flavor of sweetness, but like the sort of like the essence of it, like what it does to your tongue, I guess. Like oranges were kind of nice because, I remember having some pineapple
What about
in
like
salad.
a hot pepper? Did you try any like
So
spicy stuff?
okay, yes, you're right. Okay, so that's interesting. So it does to you have the mouthfeel of spice and stuff, but not the taste. Like it was hot and it would make your nose run and stuff, but you couldn't taste it. Like I probably could have bit into a habanero, and you can't taste that like vegetable sort of like bell peppery flavor, for God damn it, I say lack of a better term. I need to start thinking of some better terms at some point. But yeah, it was fucking weird, man. Hot sauce, like, but so that's what I'm saying. I found some comfort in the texture of things, the sort of the spice level of things. Like that was all I had. So I really sort of learned to like be happy with at least having that, because if you couldn't taste, smell, or feel like the texture in your mouth, I think that's like hellacious, dude. Like it probably would have started to drive me insane.
Would you feel full though when you ate? You could get the benefits of eating, right?
Yeah, I would feel full. I mean, it was weird because I was eating a lot because of boredom. I was like, and I had some friends drop off food and stuff, like Jeremiah brought those tasty cakes, and and some Capri Suns, and then my buddy Van Corona, a great photographer. He nicely enough, he like went to like the market. He got us a bunch of food and some treats and got me like Sudafed and shit and like stuff because I couldn't breathe out of my nose, and dropped that stuff off. So I just caught myself like going back and eating like sour gummies and then fruit snacks and then but I couldn't taste any of it. It was fucking weird, man. What a weird I'm trying to like conceptualize this in a way, go deeper with it. There was comfort in eating even though I couldn't taste. And so then I was like, what am I doing? Like that's how I'm sort of like have like certain food issues like like borderline food addiction stuff because I was literally just filling my mouth with stuff and I wasn't getting any of the fun pleasures that you get from candy or just I don't know. So I ended up just feeling like shit, like bloated and because of my own fault, and just gross. And then sadness because I was trapped in the house led me to just abusing that and sort of like just eating shit all the time. And I think the funny thing is the last thing I remember tasting was Domino's. Like the night before I lost my taste, we had Domino's and some wings, and then the next day just couldn't taste it. And it was. I'm so glad it's back, dude.
Well, you deserve the COVID if you're just eating Domino's and wings all the time. Fuck that.
I mean, don't shame me. But I got a weird. I think that those things are nice in as treats once in a while. The problem lies when it's an all the time thing, and I'm very easily sort of especially in quarantine. I was like, well, this is how we're living, it's so here we go. And I just sort of like leaned into it. I think I was like, fuck it, I'm balls to the wall with this, and when I get out of it, I'm gonna figure something out to like take care of myself. But so now
little did you know you were never getting out of it. You're just stuck in it.
I just burped because I'm having this. No, I'm out of it. I today I made that salad. I'm really trying to. I just don't want to live like that, man. I feel uncomfortable. That's the thing. It's like I'm not like. I have issues with that because I'm like, well, I'm not. Oh, actually, I'm kind of learning that I am kind of vain as far as like I want to like look good as well, but for the most part, it's like when I sit down and I feel gross, it's more of like a feeling thing. So like, I always think about that with like, anybody that's trying to lose weight or like eat better. The real thing that I think is a motivator for most people or should be is how they feel. Like if you feel good the way you are, then fuck it, who cares? But I start to feel sluggish and sort of just uncomfortable and stuff. So I'm trying to get to a point where I want to feel limber. And I mean, when I was doing jiu-jitsu like all those days a week, man, I could like touch my toes and I was like really malleable and sort of like agile and stuff like that. And I couldn't imagine doing a backflip right now. I feel like I would hurt myself. I would rip everything in my fucking core section, and then I would probably eat shit because I'm just.
Well, we gotta set the backflip challenge. Then we gotta like.
That's cool. I like that.
Prepared for a backflip for in a week. Can you do a backflip in a week? Let's use that Let's use this to piggyback into the mental health.
Yeah, I would say
because how do you feel today?
I feel great today. I feel pretty good. I'm a little bit. I was a little stressed because I had so much to do today. I have a couple podcasts to do. I have a meeting at 9 p.m. tonight. I have some phone calls to make, which is not. So that's the thing. I was thinking about this. I am trying to let these things not bother me as much anymore because of course, like I'm mentally ill, so it's hard. It's easier to say that, and I'm in theory putting it into practice. But so often, back to this thing of I'm robbed of my happiness during the day because I'm so worried about the past or the future, and I'm sort of trying to come to terms that worrying, and this is really hard because because I can say it like mathematically, but I don't know if that's gonna make a change. I literally have to rewire my brain. But worrying does nothing. Like literally does nothing. Like if I'm worrying about getting things done, like the worry doesn't get those things done. It just makes you fucking freak out. So today, and I had a bit of a epiphany a few weeks ago as far as like happiness goes. Like I've been kind of happy for the last few weeks and sort of felt kind of free. I don't know if having COVID did a lot. I'm sure it had a piece of that where like I was like, wow, like when I'm done with this, if I can pull through this and be healthy again, like I felt really happy to have my health again. And so that sort of lit a fire under me as far as like living life, like living for today. And I realized like I don't live for today a lot, I'm living, but I'm mostly living in the past and in the future. And like so anyway, so today I woke up, I was like, okay, I gotta go to the gym. Then I gotta come home. I wanted to make a meal, so I was like, okay. So this is to normal people, this is so easy, but to me, it's such a undertaking where I see the entire building instead of looking at a brick, and I have a real issue with that with everything in my life. Where I was like, okay, gym, make my meal, podcast, phone call, meeting, second podcast, and then my meeting tonight. So that's what, five things. But to me, I just see it as a big blob of anxiety. And I was like, okay, and even though I haven't really been meditating every day, I do use those techniques every day. I breathe. I was like, let me breathe on this and go, okay, well, worrying about these things doesn't make them done. Let me piece them apart and let me go to the gym. All right, let me be here at the gym now. Let me come home. Let me make this meal. Let me do this podcast. I need to breathe more often and find myself in the moment more often, because then I actually do get to enjoy this sort of thing. Like, I mean, I'm enjoying myself right now. It's like I just have an issue with that, taking it all in at once. And nothing is really like that because that's what schedules are for. And I don't know. And as I'm saying this, I'm already like thinking about my other phone call. It's like it's a real so I know what I have to do in theory, but putting it into practice is a whole nother thing. So I'm I don't know what I'm saying. I guess today I'm coming to terms with the fact that my worrying doesn't get things done for me. And also I worry about a lot of things before I even know what's going on, like whatever. Like if you have a family member is going through something, it's like, well, why sit around worrying about that every day? Once we get there, we'll get there, and then we'll figure it out. And even in those moments, worrying doesn't help. Yeah, so I don't know. So I'm sort of and I'll connect this to music. Is I've been sort of I'm trying to live in the moment, and all my favorite punk bands and stuff and musicians for my whole life have been talking about that forever. Live for today. And so I'm 34 years old, and I want to start like living for today and sort of leave behind the past and stop worrying about the future, because it's like, I don't know. I'm sick of being robbed.
Let's do it right now. We're living for today. We decided right now.
Yeah, it's funny because it's such a cheesy phrase, like live for today, and it's so cliched, but it really is. It's, if you look at like Buddhism and all those sort of like and meditation practices, it sort of simplifies the theory behind all those things. I mean, do you feel like you sort of are constantly in the past and in the future, or are you? Because I have a hard time realizing that other people, like, their brains don't work that way.
I think I think it's a constant evaluation, but I think due to my psychedelic experiences, and how intense they were, that they're kind of always with me, so I can understand what it means to like live in the moment. Mm-hmm. And I think that I do a pretty good job of it. and I don't get caught up in some of the things that a lot of people get caught up in. I truly don't understand them. So, I think I do an all right job, and I try to be better at it. And to relate it to something that you said earlier that I thought was really that kind of resonated with me, where you were talking about how how like you're just supposed to enjoy the process. I think you were talking about the gym, right? And feeling good.
Yeah.
And I related that to art and music, where it's like you're just supposed to, like, because I'm working on, my podcast is all about like me and my friends in the past, and none of us are famous from that. Not all of us. Some of us are, but so we had this process, and I really enjoyed the process, and now I'm looking back at that.
Oh, I love that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's so cool,
So
man.
art and music are the same, and
Yes.
the gym is the same. You should just feel good.
Yeah.
You don't have to look. You don't have to look amazing. You don't have to be the guy in the gym that goes every single day. And is
no, and I
obsessed
don't
with
want that either. Yeah,
and that's the same in art.
Yeah,
you don't have to be like on social. You don't have to have a million social media likes, and you don't have to be like monetizing and all these fucking buzzwords that people use. It's like, just make fucking art, man. Like,
branding, all that shit. It's like,
fuck off, man.
I was thinking about that. It's like I was talking to a buddy, and I was saying like, these past few months, and this is an extreme case, and I made it an extreme case on purpose because if I can be happy in that extreme case, then I can be happy with what I have now. I'm trying to get to a point mentally where I am, worst case scenario, if I ended up homeless and broke, that I could be happy as that, right? Like sort of not fearing that, but sort of realizing that doesn't mean my life is over. And so if I can figure out a way where I'm like just accept that as a possibility in the future, whatever. I'm not saying it is, but I'm going to the extreme on purpose. That I'm already prepped for that. I'm already like, okay, I could figure that out. I'd be happy. I don't have much, whatever. So that being said, I should absolutely be happy in my case right now, where I have things, where I have a guitar and I have a podcast and I have friends and I have food and stuff like that. So, I'm the older I get, I'm sort of realizing that, again, just like you said, creating art, creating music for nothing, that is inner happiness that comes from that. You're getting inner happiness. It's not an external sort of endorphin rush from the likes and from the clicks. So I'm trying to, I'd be lying if I didn't want some sort of not notoriety, but I want people to hear and see the stuff that I make, so that there is that balance. But I don't want to create art for the sake of likes, because when you do that, you start to change your art for what people would like. I was thinking about that today. Like when I'm writing songs, I'm like really trying to write songs that I enjoy, not that what would this guy think if he heard that or this or whatever. But and then to the music point,
many successful things in art and music have come out of accidents, where people are just dicking around. Oh, I was just dicking around,
dude.
I was just dicking around, having fun. Me and my friends were just fucking around.
Or
and
how about
like we made Jackass or whatever?
Yeah, or how about like necessity? Somebody said this today. Necessity creating an aesthetic. Where that's interesting to me is like, old punk 7 inches or the Flyer look or whatever was like, hey, we put out these 7 inches in like a white disco sleeve and a sticker, because the sleeves, we could get more of the sleeves for less money. And then we just had a guy with a print shop. We made these stickers for like nothing. And then now that's the look. Like all these bands are like, oh, I'm putting it in this white sleeve with the sticker. And it's like, I love that. My mom's always, always said necessity is the mother of invention. It's like, I love that sort of thing where, or even the sound of
your
punk,
mom
right?
created that saying?
No, she just always would say it.
I'm kidding.
Oh,
Your
didn't
mom's
know.
Confucius?
Yeah, my mom is Confucius.
I don't think he said that, but
no. But just
it's a great saying.
Yeah, and I like that necessity creating an aesthetic as well, like the punk look, right? Like thrift store closed because you didn't have money you didn't have these fashion people like dressing you, and then you create your own fashion and culture, and even the style of music. Like, you're not very skilled at guitar, and so whatever, you crank up the distortion, or 2 chords, and you write songs to that, and that created the sound. But to wrap this whole, not to wrap it up, but sort of just to keep branching out on this was, as I'm getting older and sort of trying to look for power and motivation for my everyday life, I've been sort of going back and revisiting the bands that I loved as a teenager, because for a long time, and I think I've said this on the show before, I couldn't listen to music, and this goes back to even the church is scenario that I talked about last week, where certain chords and stuff really have a weird resonating thing. I'm very sensitive to music, so if I was alone and going through a tough time, I couldn't really throw on a record because it would take me even deeper. Like it was like getting into an elevator to the abyss. Like it would take me deeper into the sadness. And so I used to, but what I think now it was I was avoiding those emotions. I would like to listen to people talk because it would keep me out of my hearing the voices in my own head. I would hear other people on a podcast talking, and the words were enough to distract me, where if I listened to music and they're saying, like, the lyrics would fucking get to me and the music would emotionally move me in maybe a bad, it was just too much. It was too much being alone with my thoughts with the music. But now, since I have this like sort of new spark for music and I'm back into it, I'm and you know, the older you get, you sort of like, I think, revert to what made you who you are. And I'm looking back at all these old bands that I used to love, and now I'm looking at the lyrics as like a power boost, where I'm like, damn, like hell yeah, like, because I remember the the boost it gave me as a teenager, the confidence and the I felt like I had this thing I was a part of, and that really motivated me. And I remember like being in the pit at these shows and really releasing my energy in a healthy manner. And so now I'm looking back at a lot of that, and it's weird because like I've said, I don't have a great memory. And I I'm rewatching these old documentaries. I remember at 17, man, I knew fucking everything about Pennywise, and I knew everything about the Descendants and Black Flag, and I knew a bunch of the lyrics, and I fucking, there was my everyday life. I like lived and died by it and shit. Now I look back and I'm like, damn, like I do. It's still in me. Like I was at the gym today running to the first Pennywise album, and I was like, oh, I would just hear the opening guitar lick, and I'm like, I know this fucking song, and I knew the lyrics again in my mind, but I've forgotten a lot of that. And so now I'm revisiting and watching these old documentaries and these old interviews, and it's taking me back to what it felt like to be a teenager, and I'm just getting that boost. What's weird is I was maybe anywhere from 14 to 17, but now I'm almost double that age. I'm 34 now, and that's 17 times 2. So it's weird that in just that now I'm doing it again. I'm sort of like, and not in an adolescent way. I'm an adult. I'm sort of using these things for my adult life now. I'm not just like being a dumb fuck up teenager anymore, but I'm enjoying the power boost that I'm getting from these bands again, and trying to take that into my adulthood and use it in a positive aspect again. So yeah, I love it, man. I was thinking about this thing today that I think, and I know, and I don't mean this in a complete broad sense, but I think that punk and hip hop are probably the two most important genres of music for me and for youth that felt disenfranchised because of the low buy-in price. Like, you know, like I think to me, and like, and I love metal, but I think metal is a little more gaudy and like avant-garde, and I'm not talking like some of the early thrash stuff that maybe Suicidal spawned, you know, like the early Metallicas and those bands. I get it. It was like just it was sort of a punk offshoot though, you know. And
I mean, I'd probably put Suicidal in punk.
they're punk for sure, but
they're kind of skate punk, right?
Yes, like, absolutely. But they spawned, you know, the Metallicas
right.
and the
they
Megadeths.
Spawned kind of a metal, yeah, yeah. They did spawn kind of a suburban metal.
But so yeah,
scene.
so Suicidal was definitely punk, also in aesthetic, but what I'm saying is like, there's just something that the entrance fee is so low for punk and hip hop, right? Like hip hop, literally, really all you need at the base of it is a pen and a pad, and some friends. You know, maybe somebody can beatbox, and you're in the park, and now you have culture, now you have a scene, and then of course you end up upgrading, you get a DJ, whatever, all that stuff. But so that's such a low price. It's like the reason why soccer is the world's biggest sport, because all you need is a fucking ball. It's like I've seen people in Africa and stuff make balls out of like trash bags and stuff, and with punk it's like really that was the other thing. It was like just thrift store stuff. Like you can, some of these East Los bands and bands in South Central, I mean, they are using shitty gear. Like their drums are falling apart, and their seat is literally like a white like picnic seat that you would have like at a barbecue. They don't even have a fucking throne, and their cymbals are garbage and this and that. But they figured out a way to make it work. I mean, I would even say, I don't know. I guess I like that. There's something about that to me is profoundly deep and has changed so many lives, and then so many lives have changed piggybacking upon that initial culture. And so I guess we're trying to think about these through lines through these podcasts, and I guess the through line for me today that I want to figure out um, is these very simple things that have had such a profound effect on my life, even to this day. Like I'm saying, with mental health and with trying to live in the moment and stuff, and sort of going back to these old records that are so simple in nature, and sort of finding a profound meaning and map for my life and the way that I want to live. They're still doing it to this day. I mean, there are bands I've been into now for 20 years, and it's just crazy the staying power of something that is so simple. And I think you almost have more of a shot of creating something that lasts long the simpler it is. And I think the more things that you get into, or that the more ingredients you throw into a thing, the less of a chance you have of that thing lasting really long. I mean, even with the Beastie Boys, like their first tour was so avant-garde, or not avant-garde. I mean, people would be like, "What, a giant dick?" Like they had this huge stage show, and then I think when they really found themselves was when they went back to playing these small clubs and got back to basics. And we've mentioned it again with pizza or with pasta or noodles, like just three ingredients that create this thing that it has become. You could get pasta in a 5-star restaurant that is more expensive than, my day's worth of food. So I don't know. And then also with mindfulness and meditation and just simple stuff like the breathing technique, in and out, and trying to stay there. I'm I don't know, man. I'm just getting so much joy off of going back and looking at these old interviews and re-listening to music, man. And
there's so much more out there too, you know what I mean, like with YouTube and just so much unreleased stuff, like even amongst my friend group, like there's just so much. Like I was just looking at my friend's YouTube channel, it's got like 50 views on it. It's like these old jam sessions with like people beatboxing and freestyling in the park and graffiti stuff, and it's just like that's within my own friend group, and I'm like in the video, like I'm like, I don't remember this shit at all. This is fucking dope as shit. Like there's just so much more now with the internet. It's amazing. You can go back and reinvestigate your whole like childhood dream and
that's what I'm doing
so much
right
more
now,
out of it,
man.
like interviews and live shows and all that shit.
Yeah, you used to have to like go get a DVD or like a VHS, and then you run that shit till it's fucking doesn't work anymore, and like, so that's what's really fun too, is like being able to, you kind of kick back into that energy, but it's a lot simpler to find. And there's like unreleased records.
Shit, even Tony Hawk uploaded on his Instagram. His dad had a video camera on the Search for Animal Chin shoot, and he just uploaded like 1 minute out of 14 minutes of unseen footage from behind the scenes of Animal Chin that he hadn't even seen. It's like, there's just so much more, And then think of all the unreleased Animal Chin stuff that Stacy Peralta has. He could just upload the entire catalog, and people would be so enthralled to watch it. It's just everything is good now,
Yeah, I would love to just see.
Good.
I would love to just go through Rodney Mullen's phone and see all the videos he's taken of himself. Like. Yeah, I think people are also more. I think people are also more forgiving of raw footage now they just want the content, you know, like before, because it was harder to release, people would sort of curate stuff a little bit more, where now, like you said, him just finding that video, putting it up on Instagram, people are so excited to see it. They don't give a fuck if it has an intro or music to it. They just want to see it. And
Well, it's that cycle of art where people see curated stuff for so long, they want uncurated stuff.
Yeah.
And then it'll go back to curated again because they'll get sick of, like, they'll be like, come on, edit this shit.
Yeah.
But then when it's like super edited, they're like, dude, I want just the fucking real life. I want to see what it really looks like. I don't want to see this edited bullshit.
I think that
It's just
life,
the cycle of art.
yeah, but I think that that being said, I think life will always be closer to the unedited raw stuff, you know. That is art imitates life. But I think that whatever, as I said that I wanted
No,
to
you
fucking be
can't
like,
beat
what
it.
do
You're right.
But yeah, so art imitates
You
life.
can't
Yeah,
beat it. That's why viral videos, the most viral videos are just natural things that happen.
dude,
You know,
nothing
that
will
you
be
can't beat
funnier
that.
than a guy. I mean, didn't the Simpsons do it? Like a guy gets hit in the nuts, like with a football. It was like a fake, like they were commenting on like America's Funniest Home Videos. It was like the funniest shit ever. Like to me, this day, seeing a dad like play baseball or t-ball with his kid, and the toddler just fucking
Right.
smacks it right in the nuts, like. It will never not be funny to me, dude. Like, that's like
Right.
this adolescent, but I think it's also just reptile brain of like, haha,
Mm-hmm.
you know. It's just like, whatever, dude, or just somebody.
Right, when you see
know.
those videos of like a guy riding a bike and he's not paying attention or he's looking at his phone and he
Yeah.
smacks his head on something, it's like, it's always funny. The guy with the ladder bangs someone. It's the pie in the face concept. It's always funny.
Yeah, it's
It's
just so
always
good.
funny when someone gets hurt by an accident.
But it's
hilarious.
also back to the running thing. Is like it's like three things. It's like ball, guy, pain. You know, it's like just. I think, you know, the quickest way to get to the most punch is really what it is, and I think that's why people like heroin. It's like, you know, it's the quickest way to that feeling. It's just needle, drug,
right, crack and heroin. Crack
yeah.
is the smoker.
Yeah.
Heroin's the shooter. Crack's
Man.
the up. Heroin's the down. Yep.
Yeah,
You're
yeah, but
absolutely right.
it's crazy, and I'm getting a little bit frustrated in this lockdown because I was thinking today, it's like I got this record that I'm working on, and I can't even like go out and like play it afterwards, like as a band. And like I was like, man, like seriously, if we weren't in lockdown, I do this record, I get a band together, we rehearse a couple times, and then we go play at a bar. It's like pretty straightforward, pretty simple. And this lockdown has sort of like made something that's simple not as simple. And sometimes I get a little bit, I'm like, oh, I just want to finish this fucking thing. But
Just gotta change your attitude, man. You just gotta do
You're
it a
right,
different
you're
way.
right.
Like do it live on Twitch. Do it.
Well-
It's not that bad, you know. Like
no, it's not.
I don't know.
It's you know.
I don't know. It's not even that locked down, to be honest with you. Like it should be locked down more. Everyone's like,
Yeah,
oh, small
yeah.
businesses, but it's like everything's open as far as I've seen. Like
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's another thing. I keep getting hit up.
except the comedy clubs. The comedy
Yeah.
clubs, they should be allowed to do outdoor shows, and we should be allowed to do outdoor entertainment. It's really not that fair if a guy can go get his hair cut. Why people
Yeah.
can't do outdoor shows? It's really
Yeah, the restaurants
um,
too. That's a weird
But
one.
you know, I'm not a politician. You know, there's hundreds of people dying a day in LA.
Yeah.
So, and I
Yeah.
know someone who just died of it, so I can't really say shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. My
And I don't want to make it an issue either on your podcast that people will get in the comments and talk dumb shit. So
Nah, whatever. I mean, it's
Move it on.
You know, yeah. No, you're right. It's not that bad. I'm just antsy, I guess. And that's a good thing. I guess I'm so excited and passionate about wanting to do it that rather than getting frustrated, I should be like sort of excited about the thought that I'm frustrated, because the fact that I'm frustrated means that I'm like really feeling passionate about this project. And then
that's
just
awesome. And
yeah,
you should
just
be preparing for everything you can for when the
For sure.
lockdown ends. You can just do it day one. Like you'll be on it. Like have a venue ready. Like just
Yeah.
have your shit together. So when you can play a live show, you're the first person to do it. You know?
Yeah, I'm
That'd
playing
be amazing.
guitar every day. I'm trying to like get that stuff together. Yeah, you're right. And then I'm starting another. I'm trying to start a band with Chappelle Lacey. You know, he wants to sing for a band, and I want to play drums for his band, and sort of getting together with him. And so so here's the thing. You know this as a musician, it goes in phases where the songwriting is so fun. Like that's a really fun part. But then it's so much fun that you want to move on to like recording it, and then after the recording it, you want to play for people. So I'm looking forward to getting into this songwriting part of it with Chappelle, and then going through those sort of phases with that project.
Right, you
But,
could be spending this time just writing songs. That's so true too. Like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
lockdown is great if you want to write a movie, if you want to write a TV show, if you got the dream to write a novel, if you want to write songs. It's like how could it be there's nothing better than being forced to be in your house and like to write songs.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
I mean, I guess something better would be you're not forced to do it and you want to
Yeah.
do it. That would
Yeah.
be better, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't feel forced to do it. I feel like I want to. I feel very lucky. Some days I really like that I wake up and I don't have anything to really do because I love that. I like sometimes I wake up and be like, oh fuck, I gotta do all this shit today. So now I've been waking up and going like, oh, I literally don't have to. So I'll sit in front of my computer and just start recording riffs or doing drum loops and stuff. So that's been nice. I actually gotta like work on some sort of like a beat thing for Jesse Johnson is doing a project that I'm doing some music for soon. So I just reminded myself of that right now that I gotta get cracking on that. Maybe I'll start that tomorrow, or Friday. Jesus, here we go with the procrastination. That's another thing. But I don't know, man. It's just I'm motivated and then also not at the same time. But trying to err more on the side of motivation than not. And I want to this next week just really rehabilitate my body from the last month. I don't know. I'm gonna take a quick peek at these notes that I have because I know I had a couple things I wanted to talk about.
I mean, we're at 45 minutes right now,
Yeah.
something like that. So
Yeah.
take a peek.
Yeah. I was
Take a quick peek so I don't have to edit. Hurry up. Peek it up.
How dare you,
We can
dude?
keep it going, you know what I mean?
No, we are going.
No, how dare you? How dare
okay.
you?
I
Trying to
don't
take
know.
advantage. Trying
You're
to take
right.
advantage of your superstar producer. Like, don't make me edit. They want the raw. They want the raw and cut. You said it yourself. They
Yeah,
want the
that's
raw.
right. Yeah, then they can.
They love the
suck it,
long
dude.
form.
Um,
They're listening right now. They're out driving in their car and they're listening. They're like, "Oh, don't edit this part out. This part's great." When
yeah.
he looks at his notes.
Whatever, dude.
Did you find anything on your notes for the final?
No,
few
you know what I was
minutes?
gonna say, man. And I don't know what this is, and I know that I'm always like, I wanna do notes, but then sometimes I'm like, I just like, I don't know. I like figuring it out as I go, and I know it's not sustainable. I do try every now and then to like, really like think of something that I want to talk about, but for the most part, I'm just like, I wanna. I don't know what I'm saying. Now I sound really lazy. Anyway,
It's your podcast, man. You just do whatever you want. There's no pressure. You know, I take
Yeah.
notes on my podcast. I'm a control freak on my podcast, and some guests they don't really like. They like it. They don't like it. I say, listen, this is what I want to talk about.
yeah,
They say, I want to talk about this. I go, sorry, man. It's my podcast.
yeah,
I
yeah,
edit
yeah.
it as well, so you might
Yeah.
say something I cut out. That's just
I mean,
your podcast.
the
You
thing
do
is,
it.
I'm looking at stuff that in my notes, and I'm like, I don't really know where I would go with it, and some of the stuff is like sort of I don't want to speak irresponsibly about it.
Right.
So I want to. So
well,
that's
the next time
I got some good
next
ideas.
Time look
but,
at your notes before you record the podcast. You know what I
well,
mean?
yeah,
And
no
then start
shit.
with that.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah, in a perfect world. But then I'm also like, I don't want to fucking do that. I just want to like press record and sort of talk. But then I'm like, I understand that maybe sometimes that can feel sort of jumbled. But my point with this show, I think, is like, not that being 34 has really anything to do with it, but I am. I don't know. I'm trying to change my perception of life and sort of trying to not worry so much because I'm just sick of it. It's like at a certain point, it's mind maddening to just always be everything makes me worried, and it's I'm just I don't know. And like I said a couple weeks ago, I had something that just took a big like weight off my chest and had this feeling of freedom moving forward, and there was a bit of a shift in my mind. I don't know what it was. It was just like a moment that shifted where now I'm looking at life a little more positively. And I know things are bad, like at times, but um, focusing on that bad stuff, like just like worrying, like doesn't do anything. So um, I don't know, man. And that just like going back to these old records and even just like watching the bands play, I just have so much motivation and kind of like more of an excitement to be positive, and I think that that's good. I think that there's a little bit of a kindling going on where I'm like excited for the future, and I think for a while I was just sort of living in worry a lot, and so that I guess that's what I'm saying, um and yeah, just revisiting all these old things that gave me that as a kid are giving it to me now as an adult, and then that made me think that wow, how cool that these messages have withstood the test of time and are doing this for me 20 years later. And just other things that are like that have, I don't know. There's just some of these things are the gift that keeps on giving, and it's like, uh, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck, That makes
Yeah,
sense,
what
right?
got you there will keep you there. Yeah, of course. What got
Yeah,
you
and
there will
it's
keep
and
you
it's
there. That's
weird
my
that
mantra. I
and now
always
that I look
I
back,
always lean on that. It's like, yeah, it's
yeah,
nothing's
no,
changed.
you're
It's
right.
whatever got you there.
Well, when I look back at the times in my life where I wasn't motivated and I was sort of more negative and stuff, I look back now and I'm like, oh, those things were missing. I wasn't listening to those things. I wasn't um, being creative. It's like there's a definite connection between those things and how I feel every day. And who knows? Like you said, it's a constant struggle, man. Checking in and I've said this a billion times too. It's like someone said that mental health is like watering a plant. It's just you're not ever gonna just be done with it. Um, you got to check in with yourself every day. So that's the other thing too. While I'm eating good, while I'm exercising, I'm gonna get back into this meditation practice because when I did those 50 days, I really felt better. Um, but yeah, it's just
Yeah, I fell off and then got back on, and I can tell you, man, it's like I don't know why, but it's a noticeable difference. It's a
yeah,
noticeable difference, and
yeah,
like I was kind of like tilting out and getting angry at things, and now I can take it. It gives you just like a slight second to like look at it first, and then kind of judge it, and almost get the thought like, should I freak out here? And then just like, nah, of course not. And then
hmm
you're like, okay, I'm not gonna freak out. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it really does help, and it's I would say I do it every day. I wake up now and I just do it in the morning, and
yeah.
yeah, it's
You
so
know,
weird now. Like I don't even remember. I definitely did it today, but I don't remember doing it today. But I did
hmm
it.
yeah.
I'm like, did I do it today? But I definitely did. So
So yeah,
it
I
just
feel
becomes part of your routine.
yeah, man. I'm trying to so much of my life I sit around like waiting for something bad to happen, and I'm like realizing how negatively that affects me. Like I don't know if I've ever said this like on the show, but my uncle was in Vietnam, and he got lost in the jungle for a week or something. It was like maybe 3 days or something, but he said that like while he was lost, every like twig that he would step on that would snap, like his heart would sink because he didn't know if it was like a fucking trap or if he was gonna fall through some fucking leaves into some like sharpened bamboo or whatever. And I always think about that because I sort of a lot of my life is that like I'm just always looking for what the next thing that's bad is gonna be. Like I wake up and go, what's it gonna be today? And that's a fucked up way to live. Because you're just always stressed. Your shoulders are always tense. You're always worried. Um, and I'm just sort of like tired of it. And not it's not the same because obviously he was in a war, but like I don't want to walk around waiting. Like I don't want to walk around expecting everything to be like a negative thing because it's not. Like once those things happen, then sure address them. But like I don't want to wake up and go like, what's it gonna be today? It's like I want to wake up and be excited that I woke up, and then if something happens, fine, but don't think something's gonna happen when it's not. Like even on my birthday, I had this weird thought where I was like, oh, it's my birthday. I'm excited. I was excited to have that day, but then I was like, oh, something awful could happen today. What? And then I would who cares? You know, the world doesn't care if it's your birthday. Like this shit could derail like any second, and I think
I mean, the
want to.
reality is bad things are happening all the time. So you
Yeah.
could always focus. It's you could. It's called doom scrolling.
Yeah.
The youth are calling it.
Uh-huh.
It's always out there, man. You can find it. If you
Well, the
need
thing
it.
is, sometimes I am looking for, or not actively looking for it,
That's
but
the point.
yeah.
That's
So
the point,
so
though.
I'm
You
trying
can focus
to not.
on. It's always out there. You can find it.
You're right.
It will find you. You will find it. That's what I was saying. It's like there's people who literally only look at dark shit on the internet all day because I don't know, their mental.
Yeah.
Their mental. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
that'd be an interesting topic for the podcast. Why
I think
do
that's
people doom
where
scroll?
mental health gets involved. Where I think that's like an imbalance of some sort. Because I don't even know if they know they're doing it. It's yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's
I think it's a good topic. We should do a little research on it. You know what I mean? Because I know someone specifically who only watches like kind of dark shit on YouTube, like
Yeah.
hikers getting lost and
Jesus.
survivors of plane crashes and and they're always like asking me like, did you ever hear that story, or did you see the story lately of the girl that got like lost in Griffith Park for 12 hours and you know what I mean, all this shit, or like, did you hear about the woman who died recently in the desert and they
Yeah.
found her body like 8 days later? And I'm just like, no, she and like they'll have all the stories, like just because
Yeah.
that's what they look at. So Google's like, boom, did you hear about this?
I sort of
car crash? Or, boom,
avoid those. I sort of avoid those things. I'm more, and this is just like my reality. I mean, like my, and they're fine. They're like really positive people and doing well. But like my parents have had health issues like almost my whole life since I was a kid, and so since I was a kid, I'm always just worried like something's gonna happen to them. I guess because it was my reality, it's sort of wired my brain that way as I was growing up, and now as an adult it's still it's in there all the time. So it was like maybe a real thing that has now led to some irrational fears where like every day I'm like worried about it, and it's like, well, it's sort of out of my hands. So worrying about it doesn't change it. It just makes me fucking sad a lot. And so I'm focusing on that lately. I think that as dumb as it sounds, it's like today I made a sort of conscious choice to reset and to eat good and drink water and try to sleep better and stuff like that. So, and in that, and with this sort of happiness awakening that I've had in the last few weeks, where I'm feeling motivated, I'm feeling positive, I want to see how far that this engine will get me, and just try to keep it that way, because the only other option is just is negative. So, and I'm not down with that. So I'm trying to I feel good. Honestly, this was fun. I'm sort of, I was stressed about my day till I started to realize that like, well, there's nothing I could really do then other than just do everything one at a time, and not
Right.
let the whole thing get to me. So, that there's that. Whatever, dude. I got a lot of great birthday wishes. This guy, I think his name is Flock of Bees on Instagram. He made me like a guitar pedal, like a custom pedal. So he shipped that out to me yesterday. So I'm excited to
Wow.
get that. Yeah, Chroma Chris
That's
bought me a fucking distortion pedal for my guitar too for my birthday, and that's fucking dope. That's a
Wow.
cool thing I never did was figure out my guitar sound. Like these recordings I did, I want to re-record my guitar because I didn't really have a tone that I wanted, and I listened back and I was like, that ain't it. So I didn't know what I wanted to till I heard what I didn't want. So now with these pedals, I think I might combine the one Chris got me and this custom one put them together and stack them and try to figure out a badass fucking guitar sound. So I'm excited about that. And so yeah, there's a lot of positive things happening. I'm feeling pretty. I've been songwriting again. That's dope. So I think more. It's 8 out of 10 things are positive. What I meant was like the scales are tilted where I'm feeling a lot more happy, a lot more motivated than I am not. And so I'm happy for that. I'm this fucking douchebag is out of office, which is nice. It's fun. I watched a little bit of the inauguration today, and I'm not one of these people. I don't think everything's gonna change overnight. You know, politicians are all fucking idiots, but it is nice that a reality TV star is no longer in charge of the country, and you know, that feels good. So
In a way, we got off kind of easy. You know what I mean? Like I thought there'd be a little bit more violence. We talked about it a bunch. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I thought there'd be
yeah.
more violence, but you know,
I saw a
one little day at the
reporter.
Capitol was all it was. I thought it would be more, but you know, that was
Yeah.
that. Maybe there'll be more later, but it's like, who cares now? It's like, I
Yeah,
don't know, have
yeah.
fun.
Yeah, I saw a reporter sort of going through the blocks surrounding the White House, and it was just like empty, man. You know, there was a few blocks just with the fucking National Guard, and it was sort of eerie, but also good because I didn't know if they were gonna fucking come with something today, but you know, it also just shows how fair
How
weather
could they?
and
Now
how
it's
little
like,
people
I mean,
give
they
a
had
fuck.
they had their chance. I mean, that was the
Yeah.
golden opportunity. Like they were right there. They were literally like, there's a photo everyone's seen of the Secret Service literally pointing guns at a guy's head in a window. There was politicians literally past those guns. So,
Yeah,
you know, a couple people
Yeah.
would have died, but they literally could have, you know, held hostages and maybe killed a couple politicians. I mean, they were close
yeah,
to some serious, crazy next level fucking domestic terrorism shit. There was
Yeah,
pipe bombs.
yeah.
There was pipe bombs. You know, there's the bombs would have went off. You know, imagine if the guy from Nashville who blew up the block, an entire block. Imagine if he would have been in D.C. and blown up. You know what I mean? It could have been way
yeah,
worse.
I had someone, and
not saying it wasn't bad.
no, it was awful. But I had somebody send me, I guess, and I don't know, I haven't looked into this. This might even, you know, you never know with the internet now. But I guess the Black Panthers staged a march back in the '60s or something with and stuff, and they marched to the Capitol and stuff, and apparently they were armed. And he was like, "Well, what about this?" And I was like, "Okay." First
Okay,
of all,
I
let me
mean,
say
yes,
this.
This is all. This is true. Yeah.
Okay,
This
but
is true.
here
I'm
we
gonna
go.
tell you what happened.
Okay,
go
tell
ahead.
me what
Never
happened,
mind.
and then
It doesn't matter. Who cares? Yes, the Black Panthers.
I do want to know.
The Black Panthers were armed. It was you know, just like one of these things. The Black Panthers were armed. Yes, they did march down to a government building, but I'm not sure if it was the Capitol, and I'm not sure where they were planning on going. They accidentally went into the wrong building, which I believe was the Capitol of the state where they were in. And yeah, everyone freaked out, and they were like, "Look, we're allowed to hold arms. It's legal. We're not going to hurt anybody." Blah blah blah. And as a result of that, there was gun laws invoked because of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I remember
you know,
hearing that
imagine if
because
in
they armed
Michigan-
themselves, people
Yeah.
they started, you know.
Then,
But anyway-
then those gun nuts were like, well, if black people have guns and gun rights, we might need to, like, you know, straighten this gun law shit out or whatever.
Yeah,
but anyway,
yeah.
carry
But anyway,
on.
so my point being is this guy sent it to me as like he was trying to like win this of like, oh, because, you know, there was a lot of, you know, people were talking about like, oh, if black people had stormed the Capitol, like this and that. He's like, well, they did this and that. And so I thought about it for a long time, and I was like, okay, whatever the fuck. But also think about the difference in the reason behind why, you know, you're talking about disenfranchised people who have been shit on, who built this country, you know, slave labor for all these years, and have been just immensely disproportionately treated awful, marching just to be treated the same. And then you got these fucking crybabies, you know, mad about an election count and this and that, whatever the fuck they thought. And these sort of privileged, and not, yes, privileged, but it's like just the
yeah.
difference
They're
in
fucking
the
they're
cause.
attacking the Capitol because the election was rigged. They
Yeah.
thought, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
just
we're
like,
talking about basic human rights versus crybaby shit, you know. So fuck
there's
you.
no
to that.
comparison.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
There-
There's no,
yeah, there
it is,
isn't.
it is what it is. There's
Yeah,
no
but
fucking
anyway.
comparison. It's ridiculous. What about
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter? Oh, you mean the fucking civil rights organization that's
Yeah.
like fighting for the
Yeah.
rights of oppressed people
Yeah,
for hundreds
exactly.
of years in a racist country? Yeah, that's comparable to white people flying in a private jet because they believe QAnon conspiracies that the government is fucking run by a fucking elitist cabal of pedophiles who are covering
Lizard
up, you know what I
people.
mean? Like, and they're all in on it. Mike Pence is in on it, and the Republican Secretary of State who literally voted for Donald Trump is in on it. It's like, okay, guys, I'm kind of like not on the wagon anymore.
Yeah, whatever. But anyway, I wanted to just say, you know, that it was just such a crazy, like, just they want to just win at any expense, like that, whatever. But anyway, so
Right.
so fuck
Right.
fuck
Right.
that.
Right. Right.
And but anyway, just to wrap this thing up, I'd say um, you know, I say it all the time, just fucking and also I said that my New Year's resolution was gonna stop being like, I know it sounds cheesy, and just say what the fuck I mean. So love each other, really, really try to consume. If you're gonna consume positive things. Try to think positive things, try to speak positive things. Our thoughts and our words are really the only thing that we can control, and so why not control those things with good intentions, good vibes, harmony, love, peace, all that. And that's if you're gonna, if you're gonna consume things, consume positive things, and if you're gonna create things, let's try to create positive things, and just spread it around each other. Because I feel that to me, the biggest sort of change that we can enact is like in our everyday life, smiling at people or helping someone that's close to you, or making somebody laugh. And I think on a small scale that stuff really creates a big level of change. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling positive. I'm feeling fired up. And I'm going to try my best to start, putting positive things, more positive foods in my body, I don't know, just trying to live a more peaceful, loving life. And that's really all I want, man. Strip it all away, strip everything away, money, the podcast, music, whatever. You know what I mean, like music that I'm putting out. I just want to live a more peaceful, loving existence that is with less stress in my life on an everyday basis. And I feel like that's not a crazy goal to achieve, and I don't think I think that's a good way to try and live. So that's all I'll say. And David, you got anything?
I mean, my goal is to rock the fakie on a vert ramp. I'm gonna
Hell
get it
yeah.
done.
I
I'm
like
gonna get
that.
it done this year.
Hell yeah. I love
No,
that.
I don't got anything. I just like I'm happy and I'm excited about like, doing some film stuff for the Patreon, and I'm happy with what you're doing, man. You're 26 or 7 or whatever episodes in, and we're still here.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm excited about this.
So I'm proud of you. Happy birthday.
Thank you. And yeah, other than that, go listen to Pennywise's first self-titled record. I really like it. Had a huge impact on me as a kid. And that's it. We'll see you guys soon. Join the Patreon. Shout out to Hot Bob Hot Sauce, Luca Clothing, Tie Dye Company, everybody that's like supported us. We really love you guys. I'm really happy that we're building a small but mighty following, and we're gonna keep trying to give you guys what you want, but also hopefully if you're fans of us, you want what we want. So we're all like-minded individuals, I think.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah, we'll talk to you soon. Till next time. Yeah.